What's happening, labor management relations students? Well, we have completely immersed ourselves into week number 4 of our studies here. We have entered chapter 4, which is dealing with the historical development of the labor union movement. This week, of course, read your chapter and you're going to take a chapter quiz. We're going to try to get through what would be some of the influencing factors that cause the unions or people to unionize throughout the United States and its history, some of the influences and successes and some failures, why some unions didn't actually work and develop. So I wanted you to keep focus on a couple of themes this week. I want you to understand the different unions when we talk about industrial unions and when we talk about skilled labor unions and which union it refers to. Heads up, that will probably be some of the questions in your exam. So as you're kind of breezing through and reading through the chapter and kind of getting through some of that stuff, highlight some of those things. What is the Knights of Labor and what type of union did they organize? Was it a craft union? Was it an industrial union? As you probably have figured out by now, industrial unions dealing with certain industries, the car workers, the different workers in manufacturing, or skill unions will be more like today we'll see skill unions under like the electricians, the Union of Electrical Brother Workers, or whatever it's called. But there are certain reasons why these people have come together and become unionized. Identify some of the history points, changing significant history points in our union development. We're probably going to talk about the Haymarket Square in Chicago and kind of make sure you understand what that was, what happened there, the turning point in regards to unions. Compare some of the historical strategies that unions have used in the past. We know from previous chapters, some of the strategies are striking and boycotting and different areas, that different tools that the unions use to control or to influence what they want passed. So make sure you keep an eye on that during your readings of these chapters. And of course, I would like for you to understand why we study unions today. Who cares? In other words, especially here in the South, it's not such a big deal with unions. But if you're going to be working for a multinational corporation, or even just a domestic corporation that deals with other states and contracts people from outside of Georgia and the southern states, you might run into this. So it's good for you to understand it, understand why they have changed. And for all of us, we enjoy a 5-day work week. Well, that's union influence. We enjoy 8-hour work days. That's union influence. We appreciate that there are child labor laws. Well, so happens that the unions had passed that. And of course, the big one that people probably associate with unions is Labor Day, which is something that the unions push for. So every time you have a Labor Day holiday, you could say thank you to all of our unions that had forced that to be enacted. All right, so chapter 3 deals with historical developments. You have your chapter test as you always do, but you also have a discussion that I would love and excited to read about. Now, in regards to discussions, I noticed that some of you have discovered the weekly discussion tabs and have gone ahead of the game. No problem. I have no issue with that. If you guys are in the mood to get ahead of the game, that's perfectly fine. The test I will do week by week. I'm not going to change that. But if you wanted to move on and go to the next discussion, look at the video and put your comments in, go ahead. Note that I will not grade that discussion till it comes up in our weekly chapter. So I've seen some people already having discussions on globalization, which is probably down the road in week 9 or 10 somewhere, but I will not touch those yet. So don't get upset if your discussion has not been viewed or graded by me. I'm only going to discuss, and I'm only going to grade the discussions that are due for that week. This week, we are discussing what has the union ever done for us. They're going to talk about that. Some of the things I've mentioned are going to be mentioned there. Your discussion is going to be, have we as a nation, as a culture, outgrown the need for unions? In the same sentence, I would like for you to, if you don't think we have, Is it something that's only needed in a certain industry or a certain craft? Is it something that still can be used all across the board through all of our, labor force, or is it something that's more specific? The largest unionized group now are public employees, so government workers. So think about that for a second. If you have a government job, as you probably know, it's very difficult to just get fired because there's a union backing you up. So in private sector, unionization has declined rapidly. So are we finding that unions might have just a niche market? So talk to me about that. Of course, as you know, the discussion is your original thought and a reply. Now, I cannot emphasize we are now in week number 4. One sentence replies will not be accepted. Have a conversation. Tell someone something different than just, I agree with you and I like your post. Have a great day. I will not accept that. You will not get credit for that. You will only get credit for work that's done. I do not need to put a word limit. I think you are all adults and understand a discussion is exactly what it is. It's a discussion. No one ever has a discussion and says, I agree with you. There has to be more content to that. So I'm not going to tell you a certain amount of words. I'm not going to tell you how many sentences, but I will tell you one sentence will not cut it this week and from now on. So I think that's it, guys. I hope you're having a decent time in this class. I hope the videos are helping. It will help if you tell me that you do watch it. I don't know if you're watching it or not, but I will like to know that this is being helpful, useful. So we're week number 4. Tuesday night, week number 4 ends, and week number 5 begins. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. By the way, congratulations to all my Falcons fans. They have made it to the Super Bowl, and, I'm a Chicago guy, so, of course, my Bears are not playing, so I'm going to be cheering on the Falcons for the Super Bowl because anyone but the Patriots. So have a wonderful day, guys. We'll talk to you soon.